The fundamentals of government budgeting. Defining government budgets. A government budget is a foundational financial plan, detailing projected revenues and expenditures over a specific period, typically a fiscal year. This instrument is crucial for the effective management of a nation's economic resources. The budget outlines the government's priorities regarding its spending on various sectors like defense, education, healthcare, and infrastructure. It also highlights projected revenues, primarily derived from taxation, public sector fees, and other government income sources. Thus, government budgets are essential for ensuring economic stability and equitable resource allocation. The role of fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is a vital component of government budgeting, encompassing decisions on how much to spend and collect in taxes. It aims to influence macroeconomic conditions, including aggregate demand, employment rates, inflation, and economic growth. Through fiscal policy, a government can stimulate an underperforming economy or cool down an overheated one. For instance, during economic downturns, governments may decide to increase spending and cut taxes, thus injecting more money into the economy and encouraging consumption and investment. Conversely, during times of rapid economic growth, higher taxes and reduced spending can help to temper inflationary pressures. Hence, fiscal policy is instrumental in steering the economy toward desired objectives. Types of government budgets. Governments employ various types of budgets to address their fiscal needs effectively. The most common form is the balanced budget, where anticipated revenues equal planned expenditures. Nonetheless, achieving a perfectly balanced budget is rare and may not always be desirable. Alternatively, a surplus budget occurs when revenues exceed expenditures, which can help in reducing public debt or saving for future needs. Conversely, a deficit budget arises when expenditures surpass revenues, requiring borrowing to cover the gap. While persistent budget deficits may raise concerns about growing public debt, strategic deficit spending can be beneficial for stimulating economic growth during downturns. Each budget type serves different strategic purposes and reflects the government's economic priorities and challenges. Components of a government budget. Revenue sources. A government's budget is underpinned by the various sources of revenue it can generate. Primarily, these revenue sources include tax collections, which consist of income taxes, corporate taxes, sales taxes, and property taxes. Taxes form the most significant portion of revenue for most governments. Additionally, non-tax revenue also plays a vital role, including earnings from government-owned corporations, fees for services, and licensing. Custom duties on imports and exports further contribute, providing a sizable income derived from international trade. Investments in government securities and bonds likewise yield returns that bolster national revenue. Each revenue stream is essential for supporting the government's fiscal agenda, ensuring the resources necessary for fulfilling its economic and social responsibilities. Expenditure categories. Once revenues are collected, a government must efficiently allocate these funds across a range of expenditure categories. Public expenditure typically falls into several key areas: defense, healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Defense spending encompasses the funding for military operations, equipment, and personnel salaries, while healthcare allocation ensures the establishment and maintenance of hospitals and medical facilities, in addition to subsidized public health initiatives. Education budgets fund public schools, colleges, and various employment training programs. Another critical category is infrastructure, which involves capital investment in roads, railways, and public transportation systems that facilitate commerce and enhance societal connectivity. Beyond these primary categories, expenditures also cover governmental administration, environmental protection, and cultural development, each playing a crucial role in the overall functionality and development of a nation. Transfer payments and subsidies. Transfer payments and subsidies represent a significant portion of government expenditure but differ in nature from direct service-related spending. Transfer payments encompass welfare programs, unemployment benefits, and social security disbursements that support individuals and families in need. These are non-exchange transactions, wherein recipients do not provide goods or services in return. Subsidies, on the other hand, are financial aids provided to industries or sectors to encourage certain activities or assist in reducing consumer prices. Agricultural subsidies, for instance, support farmers, ensuring food security, while green energy subsidies promote renewable energy development, supporting long-term environmental goals. Both transfer payments and subsidies are policy tools aimed at achieving economic stability and promoting social welfare, integral to a government's fiscal strategy. The process of budget formation, legislative and executive roles. In democratic governments, both the legislative and executive branches play crucial roles in budget formation. The executive branch is usually responsible for creating a budget proposal, which reflects the priorities of the government. This process involves various departments and agencies collecting data and assessing needs to allocate resources efficiently. The legislative branch, on the other hand, serves as a check on the executive's proposals. Legislators review, debate, and amend the budget to ensure it aligns with broader economic goals and public interest. This collaborative process ensures that the budget is balanced and addresses key social, economic, and infrastructural needs. Budget proposal phases. The process of crafting a government budget typically involves several distinct phases. Initially, the government announces guidelines to steer the development of the budget. Ministries and departments then submit their budgetary needs based on these guidelines, aiming to account for both ongoing and new initiatives. The Central Budget Authority, often the Ministry of Finance, aggregates these submissions, assessing them against projected revenues and fiscal policies to draft a comprehensive proposal. A review phase follows, during which the proposal undergoes consultation with stakeholders, leading to revisions where necessary. This iterative process ensures the budget proposal is robust and considers all critical inputs. Approval and implementation. Once the budget proposal is finalized, it enters the legislative approval phase. During this phase, the proposal is presented to the Parliament or Congress, where members engage in thorough scrutiny. Debates focus on allocations and priorities, and the proposal may undergo amendments to better reflect public needs and legislative priorities. Successful passage hinges on achieving a consensus or majority approval, depending on the country's legislative framework. After approval, the budget moves into the implementation stage, where government agencies are tasked with executing the planned expenditures. This stage involves close monitoring and evaluation to ensure that actual spending aligns with the approved budget, thereby ensuring fiscal discipline and accountability. Understanding public debt concept and types of public debt. Public debt, also known as sovereign debt, refers to the total amount of money that a government owes to creditors. It is a crucial component of a nation's economic policy. Governments may incur debt to finance public projects, stimulate economic growth, or manage budget deficits. Public debt can take several forms, including government bonds, treasury bills, and loans from international organizations. There are two primary categories of public debt: funded and unfunded. Funded debt includes long-term obligations that have established repayment schedules, while unfunded debt typically comprises short-term borrowings without predetermined repayment terms. Short-term versus long-term debt. The classification of public debt into short-term and long-term debt is contingent upon the repayment period. Short-term debt usually matures within 1 year, making it ideal for addressing immediate fiscal needs or cash flow fluctuations. Examples of short-term debt include treasury bills and short-dated securities. This type of debt, while flexible, often requires frequent refinancing, which can subject governments to interest rate fluctuations. In contrast, long-term debt extends over extended periods, often ranging from 5 to 30 years or more. Instruments such as government bonds and long-term loans fall within this category. Long-term debt provides stability, allowing governments to finance large-scale infrastructure projects and spread the repayment burden over a more extended period. Domestic versus external debt. A key distinction in public debt lies between domestic and external debt. Domestic debt refers to obligations owed to creditors within the nation, such as local banks, financial institutions, or individual residents. This type of debt is usually denominated in the national currency and is often considered less risky than external debt, as it does not expose the government to foreign exchange rate volatility. External debt, on the other hand, involves borrowing from foreign creditors, which typically includes international banks, foreign governments, and multilateral financial institutions. External debt is usually denominated in foreign currencies, which can pose challenges related to currency fluctuations and repayment in a different monetary denomination. Balancing these two types of debt is critical for governments to ensure financial stability and maintain investor confidence. Causes of public debt accumulation. Government borrowing. Government borrowing is a primary driver of public debt accumulation. When a government spends more than its revenue, it needs to finance its deficit. This is often managed through issuing bonds or acquiring loans. Such borrowing can be beneficial if it is used for productive investments that yield returns exceeding the borrowing costs. However, excessive borrowing without careful planning can lead to unsustainable debt levels. This situation predominantly arises when borrowing becomes a mechanism to finance recurring expenditures rather than investments in infrastructural development or other growth-enhancing activities. Economic policies. Economic policies significantly impact the rate at which public debt accumulates. Policies that fail to generate adequate revenue or that mandate excessive government spending can deepen fiscal imbalances. For instance, tax cuts not matched by spending reductions lead to increased borrowing. Similarly, subsidies and public sector wage increases, without corresponding fiscal measures to balance them, exacerbate the debt scenario. A critical analysis of economic policies reveals that short-term populist measures often hinder long-term fiscal stability. Therefore, strategic policy design and implementation that focuses on sustainable economic growth are crucial in managing public debt. Unexpected expenditures. Unforeseen expenditures are additional contributors to the rising public debt levels. Such expenditures can result from emergencies like natural disasters, financial crises, or health pandemics, which necessitate immediate and often large-scale financial responses. The unpredictability and urgency of these situations force governments to increase borrowing abruptly. For example, during a health crisis such as the COVID-19 pandemic, governments across the globe had to rapidly mobilize funds to support healthcare systems and provide economic relief to citizens. This kind of borrowing, though necessary, can strain a government's budget if followed by inadequate planning to restore fiscal balance. In conclusion, public debt accumulation is a multifaceted issue with roots in government borrowing strategies, economic policy decisions, and responses to unexpected expenditures. Understanding these causes is vital for formulating effective strategies to manage public finance sustainably. Through prudent borrowing, balanced policies, and strategic expenditure management, governments can mitigate the risks associated with escalating public debt.